Oh, we're back for week 8. The official, actually the unofficial midpoint of the season. I believe it's 18 weeks now, not 16 anymore, but feels like halfway through, even though we got one more week and everybody's getting their injection of points, 25,000 points in Megabucks New York and Megabucks South right after this weekend. But yeah, let's get into the card. We got our first full card since the beginning of the season. 16 games, I think. This is no bye week. So we got a lot to talk about. And then let's try to get through it as efficiently as we can.
Yeah. Coming off a rough night for Yankee fans. Obviously, anybody who stayed up to watch that massacre at the end, Freddie Freeman did what Kirk Gibson did, which is basically rip people's hearts out.
When Gibson did that wasn't against the Yankees, was it?
It was not. I don't believe it was. No, it was not. But Reed said it was at the same exact time of night, which I thought was very interesting. 12:38 Pacific time, which is crazy, right? I mean, how that shit happens, I don't know. Very angry at Boone. A lot of the New Yorkers are angry at the manager. This isn't a baseball show. It's game 1 of the World Series, but man, I thought we had that one. I think it's gonna be hard to bounce back from that. But let's get into the NFL. I'm sorry we couldn't do Thursday night. I really liked the Rams on Thursday night. I bet them. I had the over. I thought Stafford with Kupp and Nacua coming back was an easy play. If you got the 3, good for you. I know there was some argument over what the line was, 2.5 for some people, even though you were laying a lot more juice. But yeah, Stafford looks great. I woke up this morning to something I thought interesting. The Rams and the Vikings, I think, are discussing a quarterback swap. Stafford for Darnold. Because obviously Stafford won. I think it's real. I mean, listen, O'Connell and Stafford won the Super Bowl together with the Rams. And I think that Minnesota feels they're equipped to win now. And Darnold, he's 36, Darnold's 27, and Darnold's playing well. So maybe that move to the Rams when they're trying to get younger, maybe that makes sense. I mean, made sense to me.
Yeah, I like that.
Pretty interesting, right?
I heard Stafford was looking. I started thinking maybe Cleveland should be talking to the Rams.
Why don't they just get Flacco back? He's only 48.
Oh gosh.
Let's jump in, buddy.
Let's get into it. So yeah, by the way, I started my week off well. Also, I also had the Rams. I ended up live betting it when it was 7-0 Minnesota. So I got 5.5.
Good.
It was looking good. I mean, the fact that Nacua was that was such like late news that he was playing in that game, right?
Yeah, we all knew Kupp was playing. Nacua was an instant impact for them. I mean, they're such a dangerous team with those two play with Kyren Williams. Yeah. They're a different offense. But the other thing, just real quick, because we've talked about this ad nauseum on this podcast since the beginning of the year, the officiating is a disaster. The face mask call that was not called that essentially ended the game on the fake safety and the ensuing punt is something that should be and discussed over the summer as a rule change. Anything at any time from the eye in the sky with the technology we have should be overturned immediately. The referees should not be controlling games anymore. The technology is too good. We've been talking about it forever. The fans, these games mean too much to everybody. There's jobs on the line. That should have been overturned from upstairs. If the ref, I don't know how the ref missed it. He's standing right there, but whatever. He missed it. They're people, but the computers are not people. They're cameras. We have the technology. In my opinion, that needs to be fixed over the summer. You can't have this happen anymore.
So let me ask you something. How would that have been resolved? That play? From a process standpoint, what would have happened?
Very simple. On the reverse angle, and once everybody saw that was a face mask, the referee gets buzzed. They said, move the ball. It's a personal foul, 15 yards, an automatic first down. Period. Happens very quickly. Doesn't take a lot of time. It's kind of like what goes on in hockey in Toronto, only it only happens with offsides and goals over the goal line. But here it would be literally everything. Every single play does not need to be challenged. If it's egregious, it has to be overturned and seen by the league, and boom. We talked about this. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of games going on simultaneously on Sundays, especially on a night game, though. There's no excuse for that. It's the only game in town, right? And everyone's watching. So you can't pull the wool over people's eyes anymore. You can't accept Tuesday morning coming in and getting an apology letter from the NFL. It's fucking meaningless. The game, there's only 17, 16 games, whatever the fucking there is. You can't afford to lose a game. And I'm not saying Minnesota would have won. I'm just saying it ended the game prematurely, and it's unfortunate.
I think it's well, what do you think of it being in the context of a challenge? So like right now, I think like certain things are not challengeable.
Correct. That's not challengeable.
I'm saying if you, under the current construct, if you just say, well, you know what? Everything is challengeable, including a call that was missed, because that's not currently on the table. And so therefore, it's you don't put the onus on the league, you put it on the team. And if the team's good with their video and their analysis and their they think it's worth challenging, and they say, you know what, because it's I don't know how the game wouldn't be slowed down any other way, but that would put the onus on the team, and the coach would say,
I think the challenging slows the game down more than the guy. I think the challenging slows the game down a lot more than the onus of just being, hey, we got the call wrong, move the ball, move on with the game, go. They know, they saw, they're all sitting there. Everybody could see it. So it shouldn't take long.
Also, but then remember, then the league has to be watching every single play,
and they should be,
and review, and for a potential missed. It's like I don't know. I find that I think could be wrong, but I find that to be harder to ask for or manage. And I'm only saying that because I kind of feel like if that were easy, it would have been done already.
I think it's a lot easier than we think it is, and I think especially on these night games where there's only one game in town, I think it's simple. I mean, that's not hard to do. We're all seeing it. We all have 80-inch TVs with these digital pixels. I mean, we could see every call, so there's really no excuse there, especially on something that egregious. They have to fix it. That's all I'm saying. They got to come up with something over the summer. You want to give a team more challenges than 2, whatever it is, so that they can keep challenging. That's fine, but this has to stop. It's enough. I mean, you're ruining the product.
I hear you. Let's move on. First game on Sunday. There's no London game this week or Germany game. So we're
Thank God
to Cleveland, where we are hosting the Baltimore Ravens. We're getting 8.5 in the contest. I think that's pretty much where we are at market. Maybe it's 9, but so Jameis Winston's going to start the game for Cleveland, begrudgingly for the management of the team. They'd probably rather see anybody else start but him. But that said, he is going to be the starter. I think our offensive line, there was a rumor 2 days ago that we were going to be fully healthy. I actually don't think that's going to happen. Jedrick Wills still has a problem with his knee. I think Conklin's okay. Teller might be back. I'm not sure, but Nick Chubb's going to be healthy. And this is going to be an interesting look. I think it's too many points. I'm passing on it. I would definitely not take Cleveland. I'm not changing from what I said, before Deshaun got hurt, which is, I won't bet on Cleveland until they show me that they can do something on offense. Now, look, we scored a touchdown with Jameis last week. I think it was the only touchdown we've had in the past month. And I actually believe in the guy, that he can be sort of like better than Jacoby Brissett was last year for us. But he's also got, he's got a higher ceiling than these other guys. I didn't think DTR was good at all. And he's also got a pretty low floor. Like, he can turn the ball over. We've all seen it, what happened with him in the Saints. So what do you think of this game?
Well, I mean, listen, I did obviously always do a little homework coming in. So I thought share a couple things with everyone. Since week 5, it's interesting. Road favorites are 16-2 against the spread. Which I think is an enormous number. I mean, so these teams, you can't be afraid to bet them if you're laying a number on the road. They're winning and they're covering. Lamar Jackson in his career is 4-0 against the spread at Cleveland. He's actually 4-0 against the spread at Cincinnati as well. Where he struggles is obviously at Pittsburgh, where he's 0-3. But so I know it's a short week for them. I think it's a hard transition for Cleveland. I don't want to like Cleveland. I really love Baltimore here either because of that short week thing. I think it's kind of tough. If I had to bet it, I'd take Baltimore.
Okay. Let's move on to Indy Houston. Indianapolis is getting 5.5 in the contest. I think market is more like 4.5. So there's definitely, some CLV here if we're interested in the Colts. I think the market definitely is interested in the Colts. They've been basically taking money all week long. Richardson,
they really have.
They've been starting. Houston's offense has been struggling. I could be talked into taking the Colts in this game. I feel like, Houston's offense is, from what I've seen over the past 2-3 weeks, is really struggling, and I know their defense is great, and they'll probably be the deciding factor in this game. But I just think this is too many for a division game. Houston struggled to cover 3 in the first game. I know it was on the road, but came down to a field goal, and I kind of see this game, playing out in a very similar way. What do you think?
I mean, the market's moving, for a reason. The Colts are really good on the road against Houston. Since 2013, they're 10-1-1 against the spread in Houston, which I think is an amazing anomaly interdivision. It's one of those things where they kind of just show up and they're not intimidated to play there. They win there all the time. Jonathan Taylor, I think, is playing this week, which I think is really big for the Colts, obviously. And Nico Collins is not playing. Houston has a couple injuries on defense. This thing opened, I think it's 6.5. It's down to 4.5. I would take the Colts with you and jump on that trend. Stroud has not really been good in his career against the Colts. He's played them 4 times. He's 1-2 against the spread. So he only scores around 20 points. So I kind of see the game as you. I don't love Richardson, but somehow the Colts are always in this game on the road. And I like that. So I would take Indy here with the number. Okay. Plus, we're getting a better number, right?
Yeah, we're getting 5.5.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, why not? I mean, we should take that.
Okay. Next game is Packers Jags. Jags have been taking money for most of the week. It's 4.5 for the contest. Current market is 4. I think there's a belief that Jacksonville may be turning the thing around after their performance last week and getting the win. And, I think people are obviously concerned about the Packers and Jordan Love's turnover propensity. And I don't know how you feel about this game. I'm definitely not going to the window on the Jags, but I wouldn't take the Packers in this one either. I kind of am interested to watch to see if the Jags can put two in back-to-back good games together. My gut tells me they can't do it. I actually kind of think Green Bay is the right side here, but I don't know. There's something holding me back, and I think it's Jordan Love. He's just, the tale of two halves, the tale of two seasons. It's just like he never starts well, and then he comes roaring back. It seems like a better candidate for live betting. Yeah, I could see the Jags going up 10-0 and then letting it slip away. But what do you think of this one?
It's 4.5, right?
Yeah.
I think the Packers will win. I don't think they'll cover. I think LaFleur struggles against bad teams. He dominates good teams. So, and the data supports that. Something I think is a misnomer. People think that teams coming back from London kind of struggle. That's not true. It's not true in the numbers. It's actually the opposite. They generally tend to cover when they're underdogs. So I'd have to hold my nose and to bet Jacksonville. They're not a good football team. And I really like Green Bay. I think their defense is playing wonderful. And I think that they're a dangerous, dangerous team. Love has been turning it over. They're on the road and they're laying more than 3. I don't like it. If I would skip the game, and I'm not betting Jacksonville.
Yeah. Okay. We're on the same page. Titans Lions 11.5. This is, I don't know. I like Detroit in this game. I have them as one of my picks. It's 11.5. I know it's a huge number to lay, but I just feel like Tennessee is bottoming out, and this may be their low point of the season or these next several weeks. Obviously, they traded Hopkins. There was some other news this week about what's the other wide receiver's name?
On Tennessee?
Yeah.
Ridley?
Yeah, Ridley. The coach came out and said, okay, well, we're not necessarily making him the number 1. I mean, if he's open, we'll throw him the ball. If not, we won't. I just feel like their locker room is on the verge of falling apart. They had a bad loss last week in Buffalo where they started with a lead. Will Levis is obviously not the answer. I just don't think anything's going well for Tennessee. And what's stopping Detroit from just laying a huge number on these guys in a game like this?
I think this is a trap game for Detroit. I'd be
Really?
scared to lay that number. Honestly, I think this is they come off a game where it was basically could have been an NFC championship game, which was historic, great game, right? Last week, Detroit, and they're coming home to play really a doormat AFC team in a meaningless game for them. It's gonna be hard for them to get up for this game. I really do. I mean, Goff has been a 7-point favorite 4 times in his career. He's just 1-3 against the spread. It's 2-2 straight up. I don't think Detroit loses, but I'm going to be rooting for them to lose because I don't have them in fantasy. So it would be an absolute dream come true if somehow Tennessee can beat them. It would be a home run of a lifetime for me. But I am not inclined to lay that many points in this type of a game. It seems so easy on paper, and the way Goff is playing, especially indoors, I mean, they should smash Tennessee. Tennessee's pass defense, despite what happened in the second half last week in Buffalo, is very good, highly ranked. So their offense is where all of their problems are. So I just think if Detroit maybe takes them a little bit lightly, it wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee covered this game. So that's why I don't love Detroit. I think this is a sort of a sneaky, scary trap spot for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't love the number.
Tennessee rush defense is ranked 6th in the league. And so if they go if Detroit tries to go conservative and just, run the ball, which they're very good at doing.
Yeah.
That could be a problem. Let me see their pass defense. Tennessee's pass defense is ranked 15th.
Their defense is not their problem.
Yeah.
It's their offense.
Right.
So, I mean, this game, you want to tell me Detroit wins this game like 27-10, 24-6, something like that, maybe. But, God forbid Tennessee does anything or Goff lays a little bit of an egg at home and throws a pick 6 or something like that. 11.5 is a huge number to cover in a game that's a non-conference game. I mean, this has trap written all over it. I'm staying away from this game.
Okay. Falcons Bucks. I kind of am inclined to take Atlanta in this game. I mean, obviously, Evans and Godwin are out, so they have to kind of turn conservative and try to run the ball. And Atlanta coming off like a really bad performance against Seattle, but they still, I mean, I just want to just sort of write that off as a bad performance and a letdown for Atlanta. But this is a division game that they can take advantage of Tampa because of these injuries. And they're, aside from what happened last week, they've been playing well over the past month. I don't see them like running into too much resistance against this defense. They obviously can run the ball very well. They have 2 great running backs. They have all their weapons. I mean, people like to criticize Cousins because he's not moving in the pocket, but whatever. He's 40 years old. Tom Brady didn't move in the pocket his entire career. And they have a great offensive line. They're going to protect him. So only laying 2.5 in a game where if like those 2 guys were healthy, I feel like Atlanta would be getting 2.5. I don't know what the look ahead.
Probably 3. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the Falcons here.
Listen, the only thing about this game that scares me is the line. It seems so easy to me. I mean, Tampa Bay lost their 2 best receivers basically for the season. I mean, Evans will be back in 4 weeks. I know they have some guys that filled in admirably, and they have a couple running backs with that carousel now. But I really like Atlanta here. I mean, you don't have to sell me on it. Cousins is 3-0 straight up, 2-1 against the spread against divisional opponents when he's with the Falcons already. And Baker's been dreadful against divisional opponents, believe it or not. He's been awful at home. He's 4-10 against the spread at home against his division. This is an easy pick for me. This is Atlanta.
Yeah.
I love Atlanta here in this game. Yep.
We're on the same page. Love it. Falcons. All right. Jets, Patriots. 6.5. Seems like too many. Jets are still very dysfunctional coming off the loss to the Steelers. Both teams criticizing themselves for poor performances, lackluster performances. I don't know. I think it's like too many to lay, but I also would not take New England, based on how they've been playing. And I'm passing on this one. What do you think?
Listen, I kind of agree with your take on the whole thing. I don't think you can put any money on New England at all. I think they're a rebuilding team with a young quarterback and a dog shit offensive line. This is a matchup where historically they've owned the Jets. Jets blew them out at home, played their only good game of the season, but everyone seems to blow out New England. Can they do it again is the question. I think 7 is a really big number to lay with the Jets. I think they probably will cover. I mean, I don't see. I just think the talent.
Crazy.
Yeah, the talent disparity.
Like easily do a repeat performance, but I just absolutely don't trust them.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't trust them either. I'm not saying we should take the Jets, and I won't say that on this show. I don't think we should take the Jets. But with that said, I think the Jets having a lot more at stake in this game. I think literally their lives are on the line in this game. This is an absolute must-win game against a bad division team, and if they they're in a no-win situation here, Jack. If they win the game and they don't blow them out, people are going to say, oh, they barely beat the worst team in the league. If they lose the game, Aaron Rodgers could be benched. I mean, literally, they'll be 2-6 and the experiment's over. You know what I'm saying? So they're in a tough spot here. They are a better team, way better than New England. I mean, who isn't? Come on, maybe Carolina, maybe Cleveland. You throw them in that same bucket. But the Jets came in here with expectations of winning a division, advancing deep in the playoffs, and it has not worked out for them for a number of reasons. Mostly not coaching, but just failure on the players to execute when they needed to execute. So the point is, I think the Jets are. I don't think Vegas is wrong here. They should be at least a touchdown better than New England, but to go out there and prove it with all that pressure is going to be hard. I think it's a skip for us.
Yeah. Okay. Arizona, Miami. I want you to go first on this one, and because I have an opinion, and I'm wondering if you're gonna say what I think you're gonna say about this game.
Yeah, I absolutely love Miami. It's my lock of the week. I think with Tua back, they're a completely different team. You know how I feel about Kyler. He had a good game last week. They won. He's not going to have a good game this week. That's not how Kyler works. He never wins 2 games in a row. As a matter of fact, he's 0-2 against the spread. And he failed to cover the spread by 17.5 points when he starts a road game on short rest. That's exactly what this is. This is a bad spot for Arizona. I think that Miami is going to be extremely focused and ready to play. They believe in Tua in that locker room, and they know when they have him on the field, they can win games, and they don't think they're out of it here. If they win this game, I think they go to 3-4, if I'm not mistaken. And they're right back in this division. So I love Miami. I mean, I know I have it at 3. It went to 4.5. What's the contest line for us?
3.5.
Love it. Let's lay it. I think Miami's going to kill them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you said what I thought you were going to say.
Yep.
And what the entire basically betting industry and public has.
Well, the line's moving to support that for sure. The same way it's moved in the Colt game. The facts are the facts.
Well, I'm saying the facts are that the entire country is betting on Miami with the single sort of thought that the fact that Tua is going to walk back out on that field is going to change their entire fortune.
100%. And I think he will.
And I'm reluctant to buy into that. I have a little bit of PTSD about what happened with the Jets and the Steelers. And this is reminding me of that. It's exactly in terms of this sort of universal belief in a single idea that it is the return of Tua that is going to change this whole thing around. And they played so bad last week, such bad coaching.
Tim Boyle was their quarterback, Jack.
I know. I'm just saying, if you believe that it's all going to be, when Tua walks onto the field, I mean, even the own players, Tyreek Hill said, start me in fantasy. Like he said, this is it. We're back on Wednesday. He said, we're back.
He's absolutely right. Tyreek Hill will score a touchdown in this game. I would tell anybody to take that prop. That will happen. Like the sun comes up. I'm telling you right now. You're forgetting how good Miami's offense is with Tua. You have PTSD that you're not remembering. And for some reason, you think Arizona now is a good football team because Kyler passed for 145 yards last week and they kicked a bunch of field goals to beat a bad Charger team on the road when Chargers couldn't get in the end zone. Yeah. So you're giving, I think, Arizona a lot more credit than they deserve, especially when Miami, this is a must-win game for Miami. This is their season. They need this game. I'm telling you, I don't think this game's close. I think Miami's going to destroy them.
Look, I'm willing to jump on board, and also like I do remember what happened last week with you and others with Philadelphia and the Giants, and I went the wrong way on it. And I maybe this is just that easy. Maybe it is that easy, and I'm willing to go along with you. But I want it to be noted for the record that I have some reservations.
I understand. I like. Okay, I appreciate it.
The fact that the entire country's on it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate your reservation.
As they say, 10,000 Frenchmen can't be wrong. Okay, Miami. Cincinnati, Philly. I find this to be an interesting. I kind of feel like Philadelphia is a live play here as an underdog. I don't think Cincinnati's offense has looked great the last 2 weeks against both the Giants and the Browns. I know they got the wins, no problem, but I kind of feel like their offense has been struggling, and their defense, as we know, isn't that great. But I just kind of feel like Philly's not getting the respect of the bookmaking community like they should. And I almost think the wrong team is favored in this game. And the fact that I'm getting 2.5 with Philly, like, to me, makes them really attractive. Cincinnati's defense isn't great. Philly's totally healthy, and the struggling Cincy offense. Like, I kind of feel like Philadelphia is going to win this game. What do you think?
Totally disagree with you. Couldn't disagree with you more. I absolutely love Cincinnati in this game. Yeah, wow. I think I really like Cincinnati. I like the way that they're playing. I love Burrow's stats. The facts are, he's been really, really good against the spread after he covers 29 times in his career. He's 22-6. He's also really, really good for some reason after he plays the Browns in his career, 6-1 against the spread and 5-1-1 straight up. I really think people are giving the Eagles way too much credit for the win at the Giants. I think that, and I loved them last week, and I did. They own that matchup. This is a week-to-week league. This can be a really hard game for Philly to win. Cincinnati is playing inspired football. They know they need this win to stay in the race in the AFC North. And I like the way Cincinnati's offense is played. But more importantly, I think their defense has righted the ship here a little bit. And to me, Philly's still a little dysfunctional team with Sirianni, yelling at fans and this and that. And I think he got a little bit of a pass last week because Saquon kind of bailed him out in the Saquon game. But I like Cincinnati here, especially less than a field goal at home. I think this is going to be an easy cover for them.
Okay. We disagree.
4 o'clock.
Let's see. Yes. Saints Chargers, 7.5. Saints getting healthier. Chargers coming off tough loss in Arizona. 7.5 in our contest, which, at first blush, when I saw this line, I was like, Jesus, that's a lot for this offense to lay. And with Saints getting healthy, I'm not going to bet on the Saints, but I have to say I'm passing based on this number. But my gut is telling me the Saints can cover 7.5.
Can I give you some facts that'll make you flip to my side? Because I absolutely love the Chargers in this game.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think Herbert, by the way, he's closed as a 7-point favorite or higher only 7 times in his career. He's 6-1 straight up, 5-2 against the spread. The Chargers are in way better shape here than, basically they easily could have beaten Arizona and they would have walked away with a 2-win road trip if they were able to do that. They lost a heartbreaker last week. Saints, I think, are a mangled team. I know they're getting Olave back, but they still have Rattler, quarterback, who's unproven. The Chargers defense, to me, has played really, really well. Dennis Allen is 1-11 straight up off short rest, and that's what this is. I think this is a cupcake win for the Chargers. I think this is like, 28-10, 31-13, something like that. I do not.
Why is this short rest? They didn't play Monday. Or Sunday night.
When did the Saints play?
Sunday.
Didn't they get killed by they got killed though, right? That was that ugly game
last week.
Thought so.
They
got dismantled, I think.
Well, they may. I don't remember what happened last week with the Saints.
Either way, I like Herbert. I like the defense. And I like the Chargers are at home for this game.
Actually, Cello, they're off extended rest.
Yeah.
They played Denver on Thursday night and got blown out 10 days ago.
Yeah. Right. That's what it was. They lost to Denver. They got embarrassed at home by Denver. Right.
Okay, so extended rest.
Yeah.
The opposite.
All right, so that the Dennis Allen stat probably goes out the window, but the Herbert stat I really like. I mean, I think he does well in this spot. I know McConkey's a little nicked up. I think Dobbins is going to be able to run in this game. And I think the Chargers defense is going to be too much for the Saints. It's hard to like the Saints here. I don't, Rattler to me hasn't been great. And I think their defense is still really poorly. It's just been a poor showing. I don't know what happened to the Saints defense, but it's kind of dissolved.
Yeah. You're just such a bigger believer in the Chargers.
In Harbaugh. Yeah, I think he's got them playing good football.
Yeah, I don't entirely disagree with that. This number, it's just way too much. I'm sorry. And I'm not going to the window to take the Saints because I believe it like that it's that extreme.
All right. So let's skip it. Let's skip it because I wouldn't take the Saints. I mean, let's skip it. If we're not taking the Chargers here, then there's no reason to talk about the game because the Saints are unbettable.
Okay. Buffalo, Seattle is also one I'm going to pass on. I'm inclined to take Seattle here. I think they looked great last week in Atlanta. And the other thing about Metcalf is that I actually think he's like an Iron Man type. He could show up and play in this game and contribute. And everybody's sort of handicapping this based on him missing. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see on Sunday morning. But something tells me he's going to suit up, and that Buffalo laying 3 is a bit steep. I'm inclined to take the 3 with Seattle there. I don't know what you think about this one.
You know that Josh Allen has yet to throw an interception?
Is that right? This year?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's remarkable, isn't it?
I would not have predicted that was true.
Nobody would have predicted that, right? Based on his past performance, but they've changed the offense completely. It kind of runs through Cook and the running game and the new kid who's been running really well for them. And I think Amari Cooper's been a great add. I think this is not an easy game for the Bills. Seattle can be really sometimes tough at home. It is a long trip for them going to Atlanta and then back home, but they're getting 3 at home. That's normally been pretty good for Geno. He's 23-19-2 against the spread as an underdog. So he does have a winning record, but I mean, the Bills are hard to bet against. I mean, it's tough. They're really tough. So I wouldn't, if this was 3.5, I would take Seattle, but +3, I know they're 25-15-1 against the spread as a home dog.
It is 3.5 for us.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I would take Seattle.
Okay.
I'll take Seattle with the 3.5.
Okay. I would too.
Yeah. Good. Great.
Okay. Next one. Bears, Commanders. You ready to bet on
Well, is Jaden playing? Because I think he's a game time decision,
I'm pretty sure he's not going to play. Let's assume for this conversation that he's not.
What's the line?
I think it's
2.5.
Yeah. 1.5.
Yeah. I'll make it real simple. If Jaden Daniels is not playing, I love the Bears.
Really? You don't think Mariota can step in? I mean, it's like, you think he's that important?
Yes, I do. I don't think Mariota's a real quarterback. I think he's nice. He's a cute little quarterback to come in and mop up a game after your starter gets knocked out. But he's playing a Bears defense that's really tough. This isn't going to be a picnic. You need a really good quarterback to win this game. And I think Washington certainly. Listen, I think the whole game's different if Jaden Daniels plays. I would not bet the game at all if he plays because, Caleb's been playing great. Their offense has always been their problem, but now it's turning around, and I understand they played some bad teams, so I don't want to buy too much into that. But I think the league really wanted Jaden to play here because I think it would be an awesome thing to sell 1 versus 2 and all that stuff. But I like the way Chicago's playing, and if Daniels is not going to play, I would love Chicago in this spot. So if we wake up Sunday morning and it's Mariota, I think we should have the Bears in our top 5.
Yeah, because I think that, well, let's watch the line because I agree there could be.
It's already gone to 3.
I know, and it's 1.5. So there's already CLV.
Correct.
So I'll watch that with you. I'm not. I wouldn't be opposed to taking the Bears in this game.
I don't know how you can be.
We haven't
Listen,
really seen what
yeah,
Washington is without him at all.
right. And honestly, I don't think Washington's defense is at a point yet where you can rely on them solely without Jaden Daniels to win you a game when that line is that short.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's to be continued on Sunday morning. Next game is Chiefs Raiders. Chiefs are laying 9.5 in this really heated rivalry. A lot of shit talking this week. The Raiders calling Mahomes Kermit out loud, and the fights from last year. I mean, this is just such a great game, no matter what. But it's the ultimate like poking of the bear by a really bad team. I think this is going to go like one of two ways. Like, I think it's either going to be extremely close and the Raiders could win this game, or they're going to get absolutely blown out of the building. Which do you think is going to happen? And by the way, I won't bet the Raiders. I will not bet on
Minshew,
on Gardner Minshew.
Neither will I.
I've learned my lesson. So have you, obviously. He's a total gunslinger. He could have 3 turnovers and 4 touchdowns.
What is the line? 8? Is it 8.5?
It's 9.5.
Oh, yeah. I would not bet the Chiefs here. I don't like them laying such a big number, especially in a division game. The Raiders are unbettable. I love what Brock Bowers is doing. He leads all tight ends in receptions and touchdowns for the year. He's really been a great rookie. He's been a great pick for them. He's kind of like their only good player. But on the road against divisional opponents, Mahomes, I think, might be the best in the world ever. He's 18-1 straight up on the road versus his division, but only 11-7-1 against the spread. And the loss last year happened at Denver. So it happened kind of fresh, that game they lost at Denver. I'm not prepared to lay 9.5 in this game, although I think the Chiefs should handle Vegas pretty easily. But if for the purposes of our top 5, I'm not that confident. I don't love the way their offense is playing. I think it's hard, to bet on a team that's Kansas City's a running team, and they play great defense. Can you cover 9.5 with an offense like that? I guess you can, but it's hard. It's hard to bet on that, So I'm gonna skip the game.
Yep, me too. Okay. Next up is Panthers Broncos. How in the world could Denver be laying 9.5 points to anyone in this league? I heard a stat that something like 67 or 68% of the time that a team is lost by 35 points or more, that the next week they've come back and won the game. I like Carolina in this game, getting this many points. I think, what's interesting? Bryce Young is going to start.
Yeah.
So he's getting, he's had a lot of time to think about his poor play. Thielen, I believe, is healthy.
Yep.
I think 2 guys on their defensive line, I forget their names, who have been out, are also going to be healthy. So they're coming in fresh after getting blown out. Quarterback change, and a team who, puts up less than 100 yards of offense through the air historically with Bo Nix. I just think this is crazy disrespectful, and giving this guy and this team way too much credit to be laying a fucking number like this. I hate to be I'm sounding like a typical professional gambler who's just going to bet this purely based on the numbers, but I'm willing to do it.
I will say that was an eloquent dissertation of support for your 1-win football team. I will not be jumping on that with you, and I will never, ever bet $1 on Bryce Young or the Carolina Panthers with that pathetic defense. I actually took Denver as one of my survivor picks. I don't see them losing to this game at all, and I'm not saying we should bet Denver because I won't lay that number. So we spent a lot of time on this game already, probably way too much, listening to your poetic rant, which I thought was, really, really nice and pretty.
That was only 90 seconds. It was.
I know. I think it was eloquent and it was smart and it was really well put forward. And if I was the judge, overruled is what I would say. Overruled.
Okay. So we're passing. Or you're passing. I like Carolina for the record.
Yes, I'm passing.
Sunday night. Yeah. 49ers, Cowboys. When this first came out and all the
4.5.
It's actually in the contest. Yeah, 4.5.
Okay.
When this line first came out, I was loving Dallas, but it was a different injury status than we're going to probably see on Sunday. Like I think Debo may play. I think Kittle may play. So that
Kittle's going to play. Kittle always plays.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Well, with those two, and I don't know the status of Lawrence and Diggs on Dallas, but yeah, they're coming off a bye and a really, really ugly loss to the Lions, which was 2 weeks ago, right? And I kind of feel like it's now or never for Dallas in this game. And it's also, they've had a long time to think about what happened to them last year in this exact same spot. I don't know why they're playing on the road again. Didn't they play in San Francisco last year and get blown out? Why are they playing again?
Yeah, the league likes putting them there. I don't know. They're on extended rest here. There's a few things here that concern me a little bit about this matchup. Normally in night games versus San Fran, Dak is 0-2 straight up and against the spread. He scored a total of 22 points in 2 games. That means he's averaging 11 points a game against San Fran. It's not good enough. San Fran, I think, is in a desperate situation to win games, especially now that the Rams are healthy and that Seattle's winning games. That division is now up for grabs, and certainly they do not have a stranglehold on it. This is an opponent that they handle at home all the time. Dak Prescott, historically, I think the Cowboys have struggled in their last 11 games. They're only 3-8 against the spread. They haven't been playing well. I'm not saying San Fran has, but this is a hard spot. Dak is 2-9 against the spread as an underdog in his last 11 games. So if I had to take it, I like San Francisco a lot here. And this is like one of those matchups that they just own Dallas and they find ways to cover. And Dak finds ways in these games not to be good. That's my opinion on it.
I feel like it's like more than a field goal is too much.
So we'll skip it. If we don't have to take it, but if I was inclined to bet this game, I'm going to bet San Francisco. They're too good against them at home. They have too good of a history. Dak does not play well in this spot normally at San Francisco. This is the game where he throws those interceptions, where he does that stupid thing where he gets sacked in the pocket and fumbles the ball. Like that kind of stuff happens in this game to him all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the final game of the week, which is your Pittsburgh Steelers against the New York Giants, who there seems to be a collective belief among the betting community that Pittsburgh is overvalued here. I don't believe under Mike Tomlin have ever, correct me if I'm wrong, have ever covered a number like this. And every single time they've ever been a favorite of more than 3.5, I think they haven't covered, and there's a huge percentage of games that they've actually lost. So there's a general feeling that I'm hearing from the betting community that this is too many points. And I don't know what you think, but I'm not rushing to go and bet the Giants. I would never bet against Pittsburgh at home in a game like this. I just don't think the Giants are good enough. What do you think? It's your team.
I mean, listen, I don't like the way the Giants have played. I don't know how you can trust Daniel Jones. I'll give you some facts. Mike Tomlin, going back to 92, the Steelers are 21-1 straight up at home on Monday Night Football.
Wow.
21-1. So you want to put Pittsburgh in a teaser, you want to take them in Survivor. The numbers back that decision, and that's something I think you could probably do with confidence. The Giants do lead the league in sacks. That is a problem for the Pittsburgh. Our offensive line has missing 3 starters. We're playing backup guys. They filled in admirably, but still, the Giants can be hard to move the ball against at times.
Yes.
So that would be a little concerning. I know Tomlin's a little concerned about that too, but I like the way you got to like Russ in this situation. He's got really good numbers. As a favorite at night in primetime, he's 27-7 in his career, including 9-1 straight up when he's a favorite of 7 or more points. This is a little under 7, but still, those numbers are very good. He plays well under the bright lights. Daniel Jones does not. Daniel Jones is 1-15 straight up in his career at night. He's also 0-8 straight up at home and 1-7 on the road at night. So I don't unless you're telling me that this game is going to be closer than people think and the Giants can cover, which I think is very possible, I don't see the Giants winning. I don't think the Giants can win this game.
It's a Giants or nothing bet for me, but I don't think they can win the game.
Right. So that's the thing.
Too many for Pittsburgh to be laying. I just generally agree with that. Your offense struggles. It's not very good, and I think even last week, it's like over and like the victory against the Jets was a lot closer than the score would say. It was just you got.
Well, we turned them over.
Yeah, you got turnover. You got turnover,
and we're going to turn over Danny too. We're absolutely turning over Danny. There's no question. That guy turns the ball over. Like, he's a fucking turnover machine. The guy's making Dutch apple pastries. That's what he does. He's the Dutch apple turnover chef, He's like the master of it. It's incredible how good he is at that. He's like a genius when it comes to turning the ball over. And they're so bad at night, the Giants, especially on the road. Little special matchup with the Rooneys and the Maras, two of the original great families, probably the classiest families in the NFL, I would say. So that's going to be interesting. But the Giants, I don't think have played good enough football to be considered a real threat here. And I know Neighbors is amazing. You know me, I love Neighbors. I think he's great. I just think the Steelers defense is really playing well. And I think the offense is taking a leg up with Russell versus Fields with the threat of that deep ball. And Pickens was way more involved. And he's going to continue to be more involved because Russ, anytime he sees one-on-one coverage out there down the sideline, he's throwing it up to Pickens. Justin was not able to do that because he throws more of a line drive throw. He doesn't have the touch on the ball that Russell does. So this is a tough spot for the Giants. I would not surprise me if the Steelers covered, but I certainly am not going to be on here telling you have to bet them laying 6.5. Okay. That's tough.
All right. So that's a wrap on the card. It looks like we've got a lineman on the Colts, the Falcons, the Dolphins, and Seattle.
We got 4.
We got let's see, we got a home dog laying 3.5. We're getting 2.5.
I want to be on the Bears if Jaden Daniels is not playing. I think that's our 5th.
Yeah, so that'll be the one that we look for that injury status in the morning.
Right.
I think all signs are leaning toward him missing. And
I think so too. Listen, he's got a rib injury, oblique injury. I think the future of that franchise is really important to them. I don't know if you risk him to throw him out there. He takes one more big hit on that rib. He could be out for multiple weeks. You know what I'm saying? They're in pretty good position as it is right now in the division, the way that division is setting up. And I think the Cowboys could lose this game. So that would be even better for Washington. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. So we got our 4. We'll confirm the 5th by tomorrow morning, by the time the newsletter gets out. For anybody thinking about getting into Megabucks New York or Megabucks South, this is your last chance weekend. So if you need a second team, or
we have a guy, Dougie found a guy that wants to join, loves the idea of it. He hosted a radio show. Dougie was on a sports radio show in Connecticut 2 nights ago, and Dougie pitched it to this guy. He's a degenerate gambler. He's really excited about it. He wants to get in. Really? So yeah, Dougie's going to send him an invite. Yeah, new player, new blood, Connecticut blood. Yeah,
love it. We're all chasing C. Donnelly in New York.
Yeah, he had a huge week, huh?
He was hitting 5-team NFL parlays. I was looking at his action.
That's what he does. And every now and then when you hit one, it pays 20 to 1.
Yeah. And he's firing off, not huge money, but like 2,000.
That's big.
Yeah.
Dude, when you hit a 5-team parlay, like you literally feel like you're on top of the world. Like that is the best night's sleep of your life. Like you everything in your life is okay. Your bills, you don't worry about them. Any fights you've had with your family or friends, they just go away. You hit a 5-team parlay. You're like literally the king of the world. Am I right? Is it what?
And it's so rare too.
It's so rare. That's why 2 weeks ago when we went 5-0, how good do we feel? How giddy were we?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's on the flip side, when you have a bad week, it's hard to get.
God, do you punish yourself? I punish myself. I start eating bad. I'm eating like bowls of ice cream at night. I'm so angry at myself. I'm doing things that are destructive. My behavior becomes destructive because I'm actually inflicting pain on myself. This is what we do, dude. This is the life we choose to lead.
Oh God, gambling. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck with your selections, and check the newsletter tomorrow morning for our final picks, and good luck with yours.
Everybody, good luck, my man. And listen, Tuesday morning, remember, for guys like me at 0, Christmas time comes, baby. You wake up and those units are back there. It's like Santa Claus came, the cookie's half eaten, his milk is gone, and you're like, yeah, let's go. We're back.
Oh, God, that's great. All right, bud. I'll talk to you soon.
Good luck with Ohio State. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Nice. There was some good